All right, so today we're going to talk about ratio and rate problems. So this is the last lesson in this chapter. So we will be taking a test after this. So what I'm going to do with that is I'm going to send out a video of a review sheet after I send out the review sheet itself. So I want you guys to work through the review sheet. That's later, we'll talk about that later. But right now we're going to do lesson 7, which is ratio and rate problems. So everything that we've taken from this chapter, we're going to apply it in this lesson. So we're going to get all kinds of different ratio problems, rates problems, unit rates, all sorts of different stuff. So, in the real world link, okay, we start out with an arcade sells game tokens individually or in packages. They're having a sale on tokens as shown below. So here's the number of packages, here's the price. So if you go off of this, okay, it wants you to, how many tokens packages can you buy with $20? So looking at that, if you notice, it's going up by $5 each time. So if 3 was 15, $20 is going to get you 4. And then 25 would get you 5. Okay, and the reason behind that is because of our rate. We're using the same thing over and over again. Each ticket package goes up by $5. So each package costs $5. So it says, what is the unit price? Well, we just solve that. $5 per package. So $5 per package. Okay, now number 3. It says, how much would it cost to buy 6 tokens? Okay, so 6 tokens, if we're $5 per package, all you guys have to do is multiply. So 5 times 6. Well, that'd be $30. Okay, so the arcade sells individual tokens for 25 cents each. If a token package contains 25 tokens, how much would you save by buying a package of 25 tokens instead of 25 individual? Well, if we did that, okay, so a package of 25 tokens would cost $5. So 25 equals $5. Now, if we do individual one, you're going to have to do 25 times 25 cents. So if we want to buy 25 individual tokens, you're going to have to multiply that by a quarter each time. So every time you buy a token, you have to spend a quarter. Well, once you multiply that all out, 25 individual, I'll put individual so we know, equals $6.25. Okay, so it does cost more to buy the individual, not the package. So it's going to cost $1.25 more. All right, so let's go on to the next page. So we're going to start by solving ratio problems on the next page. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so we're solving a ratio problem. So just like we did in the beginning of this chapter, we're working with ratios yet again. Remember, you can set them as a fraction or those other 2 possibilities of just writing ratios. So Heritage Middle School has 150 students. 2 out of 3 students in Mrs. Mason's class prefer gel toothpaste. Use this ratio to predict how many students in the entire middle school prefer gel toothpaste. Okay, so if we're going 2 to 3, that's our ratio. 2 to 3, I'm gonna write that down. Okay, one method of solving this is to draw out a diagram. Well, they did. Since it's 2 to 3, there's gonna be 3 total parts. Okay, we know there's 150 students in this school. Okay, so if we break this up, we gotta do it in 3 equal parts. Okay, so this is how they did this. So 50, 50, 50. If you add all 3 of these up, that equals 150. Now, since it's 2 to 3 that prefer gel toothpaste, you have to choose 2 parts. Well, how many students is that total? Well, you add them up. 50 plus 50, 100 students. So 100 students prefer gel toothpaste to the non-gel. So we had 50 then. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. That's a bar diagram. Sometimes those work out very well, sometimes they don't. The other way is to do the equivalent fraction way. So what you would do is you would do 2/3 equals, well, we don't know how many people. So this is the gel, this is the total. Okay, so whatever you put on top is got to be the same in the second one. So we don't know how many people prefer gel, so we're going to leave that blank. Well, the total amount of students in the school is 150. Okay, how do you get from 3 to 150? Well, you have to multiply by 50. But remember, like I said the other day, whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So times 50. Well, 50 times 2 is 100. Same answer as above. So 100 students would prefer gel toothpaste using this ratio. All right, let's do another one like this. So the ratio of a number of text messages sent by Lucas to the number of text messages sent by his sister is 3 to 4. Lucas sent 18 text messages. How many text messages did his sister send? Okay, so like I said, there's two different ways of doing this. The bar diagram, which is all right, you can draw it all out, and then you got to do it this way. So draw the bar diagram, and since this is 3 to 4, okay, 3 to 4. So Lucas had the 3 part, his sister had 4 parts. Well, each of these breaks down to 6 apiece. Each part is 6, so that'd be 18 for Lucas, and his sister said 24. Okay, the other way of doing it, okay, is using the equivalent fraction. So like I said before, so Lucas was 3, his sister was 4, just like this. Okay, when you set up the other ratio, you got to do the same thing. Well, they told us Lucas sent 18, so that has to go on top. We don't know how many his sister sent. We have to find that. So when you're setting this up, you got to keep the same information. So Lucas and Lucas on top, sister on bottom. Okay, you can't change it. Right? So how do we get from 3 to 18? Well, we multiply it by 6. Well, we got to do the same thing in the bottom. So his sister sent 24 text messages. Okay? You can use either way, the bar diagram way or the equivalent fraction way. Whatever is easiest for you guys. Okay? That's all I want you guys to do, is figure out which way is easier for you. So let's jump a couple pages. 2 forward. We're going to go to page 75. Okay, number 1. If 45 cookies will serve 15 students, how many cookies are needed for 30 students? All right, so this is where I'm going to set up my equivalent fraction way. All right, so I'm just going to start with 45 cookies. So 45 cookies, I'm putting that on top of my fraction. That will serve 15 students. So 15 has to go with this one, but students is on bottom. This is why I always say you have to label. You've got to pay attention to the labels. This is where it comes into play. Because now we got to talk about 30 students. Am I going to put 30 students on top or bottom? Bottom, because students is already on bottom. If I put it on top, it's going to throw everything off. So I'm going to put 30 students down here. So we're trying to figure out how many cookies will serve 30 students. Well, how do we get from 15 to 30? Multiplying it by 2. So we got to do the same thing up here. So we're going to need 90 cookies. Okay? So that's how you do it. Just set it up. That's why I'm telling you to label 15 students. That way we know the 30 students over here. If they would have told us cookies, we would have put cookies on top. But they gave us students, not cookies. So go back, and I want you guys to do A and B on page 73 on your own. So pause the video and do A and B and solve those out, and then come back and we're going to work through these together. So go ahead and pause the video right now and do A and B. Now that you're back, let's do A and B. So in a survey, 4 out of 5 people, I'm going to underline that. 4 out of 5 people preferred creamy over chunky peanut butter. There are 120 people shopping at the grocery store. It says use the survey to predict out how many people in the store would prefer creamy peanut butter. Okay, so first off, I'm going to start with this first one here. So 4 out of 5. Okay, so 4 people out of those, so the total is 5, total amount they surveyed. 4 is the one that chose creamy over chunky. Now, here's our second part here. 120 people shopping at the grocery store. That is the total amount, because we don't know how many people out of that are going to choose the creamy or chunky. So we're going to do 120 on bottom. Okay, total. So now we got to figure out how to get from 5 to 120. Okay, so you got to multiply this by, what is this? Can't even think right now. It's 24. That's 24. Okay? So now we do the same thing at the top. Whatever you do at the bottom, you gotta do the top. So that would be 96. So 96 people will choose creamy out of those 120. We're not looking for the total amount. We're looking for the select few that are choosing the creamy over chunky. Now, letter B. Survey found that 12 out of every 15 people, so I'm gonna go ahead and write that down, 12 out of 15. That's my first ratio. Okay, where do you know that? In the United States, prefer eating at a restaurant over cooking at home. If 400 people selected eating at a restaurant, you gotta pay attention to that. How many people took the survey? So when you read that, does that say total amount of people that took the survey? No. These 400 chose the restaurant. So that means the 400 has to go on top. And then you gotta figure out what's on the bottom. So now we gotta multiply this out. I can't even think right now. I don't know what's going on. Sorry guys, I'm gonna have to trim this out. Okay, so when you multiply this out, okay, you get 500 people total. Okay, 500 people total, so 500 people. All right, so now we're gonna switch pace a little bit and go to solving a rate problem. So that was ratio, now we're gonna solve rates. So example number 3, the Millers drove 105 miles on 4 gallons of gas. At this rate, how many miles can they drive on 6 gallons of gas? All right, well, we have one way to do this is to draw a number line. Okay, we can write that out. So if you look, all right, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so many gallons. Okay, now here's our mileage. All right, so if they drove 104 or 105 miles on 4 gallons of gas, we got to figure out what their unit rate is, what they're doing every gallon of gas. Well, to do that, you would do 105 divided by 4. 26.25. So they can, what that means is, this rate means they can drive 26.25 miles on 1 gallon of gas. But our end game is we're trying to figure out 6 gallons of gas. All right, so you're gonna take that unit rate times how many they want you to. So you multiply that out, you get 157.5. So that means they can drive 157 miles, 157 and a half miles on 6 gallons of gas. All right, let's do another one like that with a rate. So back to page 75. So talking about a horse, a Clydesdale drinks about 120 gallons of water every 4 days. At this rate, about how many gallons of water does a Clydesdale drink in 28 days? Okay, so what this is saying is he drinks 120 gallons in 4 days. Okay, that doesn't give us a unit rate. We have to find our unit rate. To do that, you gotta divide. So we're gonna take 120 divided by 4. Well, that's 30 gallons of water every day. So that horse is drinking 30 gallons of water every day. But that's not what they're asking us to find. That's part of it. We have to find out how many gallons of water he's gonna drink in 28 days. So taking this unit rate, we're gonna multiply that, 30, times 28. So 30 times 28. Okay, so we multiply this out, and you get 840 gallons of water in 28 days. So that horse is going to drink about 840 gallons of water in 28 days. So that's what you're trying to find there. Okay, so find the unit rate, and then whatever they're asking you to do after that, that's what you have to pay attention to. This is not your final answer. That's part of it. You have to find that to find the last piece. So, go back, and I want you guys to do letter C on page 73. Okay, talking about ice cream. Okay, so letter C on your own, so pause the video, do letter C, and then come back and we're gonna do it together. All right, now that you're back, let's start with letter C. Okay, so it says there are 810 calories in 3 scoops of vanilla ice cream. Okay, there's our rate. 810 calories and 3 scoops. I do not know why it doesn't like to work that far down. Doesn't make any sense. Okay, so we have 810 calories and 3 scoops. That's not a unit rate. Remember, unit rate has to have 1 on the bottom. So we're going to divide this out. All right. So when we divide this out, we get 270 calories per scoop. Okay, so 270 calories per scoop. Well, that's not our final answer. That's the unit rate. We need to find that, but we need to find how many calories in 7 scoops of ice cream. So you're going to take this 270 and you're going to multiply it by 7. 14. So it's going to be 1,890 calories and 7 scoops of ice cream. It's a lot of calories. Okay, so that's what you want to do. You got to find the unit rate first. So in the rate problems, find the unit rate first. Then you're going to have to multiply or divide. In this case, we multiply. Okay, now on the ratio ones, find equivalent fractions and go from there. Or if you want to use the bar diagram, go right ahead. That's up to you. Whatever's easiest for you. Okay, kind of the same thing with this one. Okay, this isn't really, if you want to use the other method of finding equivalent fractions, just like we did with the ratios, that's fine too. That works for the unit rate as well. So you can do it either way. So like in this case, Jeremy drove his motorcycle 120 miles in 3 hours. Okay, there's our first ratio, or rate. At this rate, how many miles can he drive in 5 hours? Okay, so first off, they found their unit rate, so they divided, just like we did. So they found that he was going 40 miles per hour. Okay, so if we're trying to figure out how many miles he can do in 5 hours, you're going to take that 40 times 5. Well, that means he can drive 200 miles in 5 hours. Okay, so that's how these work. We're just going more in depth. We're using real world links here to actually solve these problems out. So the IXL for this will be attached with the videos. You need to work on that, and then also I'll be sending out the study guide as well, because we're going to be taking a test on this, all of chapter 1. So now that we finished the last lesson here, now you're going to have your chapter 1 test. Okay, it's only going to be 15 problems, so you'll have a study guide to go over. I'm going to send a video out of the study guide so you guys have the correct answers and what to do. If you have any questions, please let me know. Remember, Tuesdays and Fridays from 9 to 10 is a live Q&A with myself about all the math work that we've been finishing up. So go ahead and take these notes, do some more examples if you need to practice, and then go to IXL and work on those. Remember, score an 80 or above gets you full credit.